Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a baking video with a wonderful guest appearance of my neighbor vacuuming above me that she will do an additional 6 times today. My birthday is next week and I want to test out a recipe for a birthday cupcake for myself. So what I'm going to make is going to be a half batch. I will put the full recipe down below, so everything in this is halved because I don't need 24 cupcakes or up to 24 cupcakes. I think I'll get 12 out of this, we shall see. So I am going to make a devil's food cake with hopefully some amped up flavor, we shall see. And I want to make a chocolate ganache, because the one time I made ganache, I hated it, but I think it's because I used low quality chocolate and some potentially bad cream. So I'm going to try that again. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do first off is I'm going to get my dry ingredients ready to go here. So I have my flour in here. Into this we're going to add our cocoa powder. You definitely have to sift cocoa powder. It gets lumpy, and if we get lumpy, you're not going to be happy. And then to that we're adding in some salt, baking soda, and cinnamon. So cinnamon is one of the things we're going to hopefully amp up the flavor here, because cinnamon does help the taste of chocolate. My cocoa powder is very lumpy, so good thing I sifted that. And then we're also going to add in some instant coffee. Normally you would brew this first, or steep it I guess in this particular case. But I'm going to actually put it into my dry ingredients, just because I don't want to mess with the liquid ratio that's already going to be happening, because we're using buttermilk, and I really don't want to take out some buttermilk to put in coffee, even though coffee will have a bit of that acidity, of course. But I'm using full-fat buttermilk, so I don't really want to lose that fat mixture. I'm going to put this aside for the moment, because we're going to use that in a bit. I also have my paper towels in the way here. Alright, don't need to mix that anymore. And then over here, I'll put my trash. We have some butter. So this is a creaming recipe. Oop, that is not all the butter. We're gonna you want all the butter. Alright. And then we're gonna throw in some granulated sugar and brown sugar. I'm using dark brown, but you can definitely use light brown if that's all you have. Alright. Keep that right there. And we're gonna go ahead and cream this until it's light and fluffy. So I will see you shortly. Alright guys, so that was about 5 minutes of beating. It's not going to get super fluffy in my particular case because I am using a smaller quantity of butter, so obviously the sugar's going to overwhelm it a little. I'm like having a time. Anyways, so to this mixture, we're going to go ahead and add our eggs one at a time. In this particular case, the full recipe is 3 eggs. It's really hard to split eggs in half when it's an odd number. So in my case, I'm going to do 1 whole egg and then 1 egg yolk. So that way I still retain the fat because that's in the yolk. In this particular case, I don't know if I can get just 1 in here at a time. I'm going to try. Oh, I did. Okay, cool. So we're just going to blend that until it's mixed. We're doing them 1 at a time because this way it ensures it actually combines well. Because with a lot of things, if you mix too much liquid in at once, it may separate. So to this egg yolk, I'm going to go ahead and add our vanilla. I'm definitely adding more than a half recipe because sometimes I feel like there isn't enough vanilla in things. And then again, we're just going to mix until it's pretty much well combined. A little easier for our egg yolk because there's no white to it. So I'm just gonna scrape my bowl up here, make sure it's all mixed. And now we move on to our wet and dry ingredients. So this is an alternating method, which means you're going to start with flour, end with flour. So you're going to do flour, milk, flour, milk, flour. So we start with the flour to help it get incorporated a little bit. So you want to try to do it in thirds the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just don't want to put too much dry at once or too much of the liquid at once. That's all. Yeah, this should be good. Alright, so then we're going to gently mix this in. When I see it just about combined, I'm going to put in half of the milk. Alright. So I'm going to quickly do a little scrapity scrape to make sure. And then we're just going to put the rest of this in. Boom. And the point of doing this is so you're not introducing too much liquid at once and also not too much dry at once. That would be bad, and you would overmix your batter. We don't want that. Also just realized I put my bowl away when I really shouldn't have. That's okay, we'll just use this cloth I just soaked up milk with. We'll make things happen. Alright, and then we're just doing it until it is combined. Almost there. It has a little bit more can go, but I'm going to stop it early. I'm just going to go ahead and clean off my beater a bit here. Can I just, yeah? Okay. So we're just going to get the beater off. Alright. And the reason I'm doing this a little bit early is I'm going to finish this by hand, but I'm going to add some chocolate chips in. So I have like, I kind of guessed how much I'd really need. I have a half a cup here, so you might want to do more, might want to do less, might want to do a full cup, I don't know. Like when you're doing the full recipe anyways. So these are mini chocolate chips, so they should be able to fold in pretty well without sinking all the way to the bottom of the batter. And you're just going to gently fold these in, because you don't want to overmix the batter. This overmixed cake batter is not hard to do. Alright, that's literally it. We're done. And I have stuff on my shirt already. I'm doing great. Alright, so now I already have a lovely cupcake tin ready to go because I am slightly prepared. There's one thing I didn't think about. I broke my cookie scoop that I usually use to scoop batter into the cup. I could do the spoon method, but I don't know how well it's gonna work. We didn't think this through. Well, we're doing it cupcake Gemma style, and we're just gonna use spoons because I have no other options right now. So with this, don't go any more than 3/4, maybe even a half, because this is a pretty thick batter. So it is going to get pretty big because it does have a pretty substantial amount of baking soda in there, even for a half recipe. Oh, this is going to be tedious. I'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back. My cupcakes are all filled. I probably have enough batter for maybe 1 to 2 more cupcakes, to be honest, but I think these should be fine. And we're going to go with that. So this is a cake recipe, so it's not set up to do cupcakes, but I'm going to go ahead and start these at about 16 minutes and check them every minute thereafter. These probably will take about 20 minutes overall, but I want to be cautious just because my oven does run a little hot. So yeah, get those in there and we'll be back for some ganache. Alright, we are back. As you can see, I have some new things in front of me. One is my induction burner, because my stove top is kind of broken. One of the burners actually blew out, and now by using any other burners, the broken one turns on and almost starts a fire. So we're gonna use the safe method. So I do have my cupcakes done. Mine took 18 minutes, which is way quicker than I thought, to be honest. But here they are. They are beautiful, and they spring back when you press on them lightly. So I do actually test all of them just to make sure, because you never know, some could be more done than others. Very easy to have in the oven. And while they're cooling, I'm going to go ahead and make my lovely ganache. So in a bowl here, I have 16 ounces of chocolate chips. I'm actually following Ira Garten's recipe, but I am doubling everything because I need more of it. So I got 16 ounces of chocolate chips, mine are semi-sweet. I have a teaspoon of instant coffee in here, and then I have a cup of heavy cream. And we're just gonna do the double boiler method because it's kind of the easiest. Also, I don't microwave anyway, so I can't just heat the milk. So I gotta be careful because we want the water to simmer and not boil. And I still don't know how to use this correctly, so it's at a simmer right now, so we're just gonna go with it. So I'm gonna plop this on here, make sure it's a heat-safe bowl, people. And we're just gonna put our cream in there. And I want all of this beautiful cream. This is also whipping cream, because you have heavy cream, whipping cream, heavy whipping cream, all that fun jazz. Because I am gonna whip this slightly once it's cooled enough. I have too many things in my sink. Good enough. Alright, so the thing about this is you want to keep everything moving. And you gotta make sure you keep the temperature under control because you don't want it too hot so you don't burn your chocolate. But you don't want it too cold that nothing melts and heats up. And of course, because the instant coffee's in here, as it all heats up, it's gonna, of course, heat up the instant coffee too. So it's gonna help enhance that flavor. Which my chocolate is melting, so that's good. My chocolate's also in giant chunks because when I ordered it, it apparently melted in the bag and then molded to the shape of the bag. So I literally had to cut the bag off of the chocolate. So this is a great use of these chocolate chips. So, you know, good times there. This is probably gonna take a couple minutes, so be patient, and I'm probably gonna, you know, I'll just come back when it's ready. Alright guys, so we are done. So I didn't let everything melt completely, because with ganache you kind of want to give it a little time to do its own thing. So you don't want to overheat this and over melt and potentially burn your chocolate. That's what I was concerned about, because I have never used this for melting chocolate, so it looks like I'm all set when I kind of scoop around, but it's pretty warm here. But let me kind of hopefully do this safely. But when you're done, you should have this melty beautifulness. Also, you probably hear my fan over there in the sideline. I'm very, very warm right now, so I need some air. Because I have no window in this kitchen, so I have no place to put an AC. So you gotta work with me here. Alright, so we're gonna amp up this ganache a little bit. So the one thing I definitely want to add here is a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of salt, and I do want to add some vanilla. I didn't put any of those in when I was melting because the vanilla and cinnamon really want to be put in when they can be mixed in. They're not heated, because those will not taste that great, especially vanilla. And salt, kind of a finishing touch. So, let's go ahead and add a wee bit of salt. Not a lot. Literally just like a pinch of salt. I add some cinnamon, which is going everywhere because the fan didn't think that through. And then a little bit of the vanilla, which I'm going to just there we go. Like literally a very small amount of each, because you don't need a lot here. So it's not a lot of ganache in the grand scheme of things. So it's about a cup essentially when you really kind of break it down. Alright. So what I'm going to do is just give it a really good mix. And then Cupcakes got to cool, our ganache has to cool, because right now it's really too hot to do much with. I kind of want it to cool a bit so I can use it as a topping instead of buttercream on my cupcakes. So this has a pretty long ways to go. Thankfully, ganache does set up very quickly. If you're really good at watching your time, you can stick this in the fridge for probably like 5 to 10 minutes, and it can get set up very, very quickly. I'm gonna let this sit here at room temp. If I really need to, I will shove it in the fridge, but I don't foresee that being much of a problem for me, personally. Alright, because you're really trying to get it to room temp, because once it's room temp, that's when it starts to set up a bit. Alright, so I will see you guys once this is ready and we'll do some decorating. Alright, we are back. I've got my cupcakes, I got my ganache, I got my roommate's cup that I am using in almost every video to just hold the lovely bag. I also got sprinkles because sprinkles make everything better and hide mistakes. So, one small problem that I literally said to not do is I let my ganache sit up all the way. Whoops. So I did let this sit out for a few minutes, so that way it's a little more pliable again. But basically with your ganache, you want it set up enough that you can still spread it, but it's not just gonna sink. So it's still nice, holds that point almost. Kind of like a meringue. You want it stiff, but not so stiff you can't move it. That's what she said. Oof. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this into my piping bag. One good thing that is coming out of this is that because I did set this up too much, oop, that did not work as much as that would. Okay, we'll take smaller amounts. Is that my hands do run warm, so it will benefit me to have this a little more set. Obviously, still not on purpose, but it did indirectly help in this particular case. So, alright. So one thing to remember of ganache is that it is very temperature sensitive. If it gets too warm, it's just going to turn back to liquid. If it gets too cold, it's going to turn to a rock. Ow, I dug my finger into myself. I am so sorry. Can I get all this in here? I might be able to. Well, here we go. So, there's some pros and cons. That's why you can use it as a glaze, you can use it as a filling, you can use it to just eat spoonfuls, because we love that. Just get a little paper towel now. Alright. Like I have it all over because this bowl is just covered. Alright. Thank you, roommate's cup. Oh yeah, that's fine. So I'm hoping this will be enough for 12 cupcakes. I'm not looking to overstuff this with ganache, because ganache is also very rich. That's why I added a bit of salt into it, because I don't want it so rich that, you know, all you're tasting is sweetness. Alright. Put a little bowl of water over here. Didn't need to make it ding. Alright. So, where should we begin? I'm going to go ahead and move this. Make a couple cupcakes. Boop. And actually, you know what? Let's get these out of the way because I feel like we want that big garbage. Okay. So I'm gonna do 2 cupcakes. I'm just gonna start. I don't know how you guys can see this, but I will do something to help you see better. So we're not going crazy. I am just gonna start in the center and just gently move outwards. That looks terrible. Not what I meant to do. So that's okay though. There we go. That's better. Meant to build it up, and we're like, nah, let's not build it up. This might not be enough. Oh dear. We're gonna make it work. There we go. I am gonna set this down just because, you know what? Oh my god. Just so I don't waste this, we're just gonna smack it on the cupcake. Weird, I know, but I don't want to waste it. Okay. I want some sprinkles. So, because sprinkles hide mistakes. But also, these cupcakes need a little bit of color. One other option, if you don't want to do the child route, like I'm doing, is you could put some shaved chocolate, but I don't have any. Alright. So we got some sprinkles on there. And I want a little more actually on this one. This one's not pretty. Alright. Let's go ahead and give this one a try since it's like not the best looking of the bunch so far. Oh my god, I can get my wrapper. There we go. Alright. Sprinkles are everywhere. Sprinkles are great until they're not. Alright. So. Ooh. This looks nice and spongy. Alright. Don't smack my teeth. Oh my god. I forgot I had chocolate chips in here. Pleasant surprise. Wow. Oh my god. It is very, very decadent. Very rich. I'm absolutely happy I put some salt in that ganache though. Oh my god. There's that cinnamon. Alright guys. For once I'm not gonna leave on me eating this because I think it's something a little more delicious. B-roll.